This week I finished the yellow on the walls of my multi-purpose room despite a knee injury and have a wow moment. I discover a hole in the ceiling that's going to be difficult to patch and try a pole sander and an edging tool to reduce the amount of time I spend on the ladder. I'll let you know what I think of those. Oh, and I start to get my coats back in the entryway. Hi, welcome to my homestead in New Brunswick and welcome to my multi-purpose room. And the yellow paint is all up, and am I ever pleased? Wow, I really like it. It looks absolutely amazing. I am still walking into the room going, wow. I did injure my knee, not doing any of this work. I know the joint is loose, and I was doing housework one day and I wasn't paying attention. I turned the wrong way and, well, out it went. Housework is quite the hazardous job. Anyway, it was a little disappointing and it set me back on the painting. And I finally just had to go for it. I used the edging brush and I found something else that was going to help me. And I just thought, well, I got to do what I got to do. And discovered that standing and painting was fine with my knee. So I got it done. I just avoided using the ladder. I could stand on the step stool, that wasn't a problem. But going up and down that ladder, especially at the angle that I needed it at, I didn't really want to put my knee under that kind of strain. I just decided finally that I would do the best that I could. And it actually turned out really great. There's a couple spots that I was not able to deal with. I will do those later, but for now they are high enough up, and you'll see them later, but they're high enough up that I can just pretend they're not there and ignore them. Thankfully, I got the taping done before I hurt my knee. Because there was one spot, it was only a couple feet wide, right above the sink, where I had to really lean the ladder precariously up the wall to reach it. And I was able to get that done before I hurt my knee. So when I went to do the painting, I didn't have to worry about getting paint on the ceiling. And everything else that I needed to reach, I could reach with a step stool. Because I didn't have as much prep to do this time around, I was a little more diligent on filling the holes. Mind you, I also put a lot more holes in these two walls than I did in the rest of the room. So I got those filled, and as you can see, I created another one. I just don't know what came over me. It was messy and sloppy up there, and I just ripped it out, and wow. The drywall does not go all the way up to the ceiling, and the ceiling drywall does not go all the way out to the wall. And this is going to be an interesting fix. I do have tape and spackle to do it. I just don't think I can stand up there that long to do the repair, and I'm not convinced that the repair that I'm wanting to do is the right option. So for now, I'm leaving it. If I don't look up, don't see it. I'm pretending it's not there. I actually had filled the holes before I hurt my knee, and then I was looking at it thinking, how am I going to do this? Especially the patches that I had to do over the sink. And so what I got was a pole sander. Now I think this is originally, the idea is for drywall. But wow, it worked a treat. It was great. I really liked it, and it's absolutely something I'm going to be using again. What I really liked was the way that it worked. I was able to take the sandpaper off, and I could put in a microfiber cloth. That I use microfiber cloths after I've done sanding and things like that to make sure all the dust is removed. So I just added that to the sander, took the sandpaper off, put that on in its place, and wiped down the wall. And I actually, because of the way microfiber works, I could tell that I had missed one of the patches and could go back and sand it and get all the dust off the wall. I was really pleased with it. It's a fantastic tool. When you're sanding, you tend to put a lot of effort on your hands to when you're sanding. But with the pole sander, you don't need to do that. It's more of a gentle back and forth movement. And I had trouble at first because I automatically was putting pressure on it. But it works way better if you don't put any pressure on and you're just doing the gentle back and forth motion. So if you ever looking for a sander that's easy to use, that is definitely one of them. I thought that the painting was going to go quick, and I was really surprised that it didn't. My first thought when I finished was, wow, that was rough. There was a lot of twists and turns that I just didn't really think about. All the other walls were pretty well flat. I mean, yeah, I had to paint around the cabinet and the shelf on the entryway, but there was a lot more twists and turns on this section. There was the corner plus the cabinet to get around, and of course, just trying to get around the hot water heater was pretty tricky. As you can see, the cupboard did not get a complete first coat of paint. I opened the door and painted around where the door is, and then a little later on when things dried up a bit more, then I painted the door. I found it was a bit of a juggling act between the edger and the roller, and just trying to make sure that I didn't end up with paint where I didn't want it to be, and having to take the pole off of one and put it on the other. It was a little messier this time round. But I must say that even with that first coat, it was a real wow moment. The first time I walked into the room from the office, it was like, holy cow, this is just phenomenal. And I didn't even know that. I don't even notice the hole in the ceiling. What I noticed more, especially after the first coat, was that it needed a second coat, but the holes, no. So I'm not too terribly worried about that right now. I will get to them when I feel like my knee can handle the ladder. It turned out that the cupboard was actually the most difficult part, especially along the side. It was, I couldn't really reach it from the end of the washer with the pole, with the sander or the edger on the pole, and it was really awkward from the sink, trying to do it sort of sideways, and even on the step ladder I found it awkward to get around that corner. I eventually got it, but sometimes you just, what you think is going to be okay, it surprises you that it isn't. And it just took a little concentration, so I was, I needed to put my hand on the cabinet, so I had to make sure that I didn't paint the face of the cabinet before I painted the side of the cabinet. As with the other sections of the wall, it took 2 coats. There were a couple places that needed 3, especially the cabinet. For some reason, the cabinet needed 3, and around the hot water heater. But I think part of that was I had to use a brush around the hot water heater, and part of that was it was just awkward, and so I didn't really notice that I didn't get everything until I sort of stepped away. So that needed 3, but otherwise, no, 2 coats was more than enough. As for the edging tool, I was quite pleased with it. It was fairly easy to use. It took a very gentle, light back and forth motion to apply the paint. The biggest problem that I found was that it held more paint than I thought, and it wasn't quite as easy to get the excess off, and I had a lot more drips on the floor that I had to deal with. But for painting an area that I was having trouble reaching, and for doing the job that I needed it to do because I couldn't get up on the ladder, I was more than happy with what it did. And as with any brush or painting tool that you use, it just took practice, and the more you use it, the better you're going to be at it. I really liked it, so I highly recommend it. I did one extra job that I had meant to do last week, and that was putting a coat hook up. So the coat hook that I got, the new ones that I got, didn't fit. I don't know what I was thinking, because I was pretty sure there were hooks like this up there before, but I don't know. Maybe they were smaller. Anyway, they didn't fit. And I had stored the old hooks out in the garage, so when I was getting the snowblower out, I got the old hooks back out, And I put one up because honestly I couldn't stand having the coats hanging on the pantry or my office door any longer. They were just in the way. So I got one hook up for now, and I think I have a solution and what I'm going to do. But that I think I'll put off for a couple weeks. After 3 days of having this painted, I am still walking into the room going, wow. I just, gray has never been my favorite color. It's not a color that I could ever wear well. I always felt drained and unenergetic. And I think the room was making me feel the same because I just feel totally different in this room now. I absolutely love it. I am so glad I picked this color. Well, you know, I'm really glad I picked this color, but I'm really glad I got rid of the gray. I can't wait to get the trim and the built-up in cabinets done. That'll be next. I'm really looking forward to really having it done. The hole in the ceiling, like the gray above the doorway, I'm just gonna pretend it's not there until I'm in a position to fix it. I can do that, no problem. If I don't look up, I don't see it. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for dropping by. If you liked the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and I would really love it if you would subscribe and join our community. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.